Hello and welcome to another episode of the LTA Report. I am your constant co-host, Cloud Sitki, your na- friendly neighborhood Shopify fan, and with me is Marn, who is your friendly neighborhood Cloud9 fan. How are you doing, Marn?
Yes, I'm good. I'm glad to be a fan of the number one content of the off-season, C9.
You mean the only content of the offseason? I mean, I guess by that de
True,
facto it's number one.
true. It was a very good video, I will say. I actually enjoyed the banter between Vulcan, Sven, and Iniro.
I didn't see the full thing. I saw the first like half maybe where they were just like telling, "Oh, what's a fun fact?" And then Loki goes with all the fun facts of being like, "I was scared when I first saw an arrow. The guy's big and taller than me and has tattoos all over." And I was like,
They
"Oh,
asked,
poor guy."
they asked the quickfire. They did quickfire
That's
questions
where
at
I
the end.
stopped. Yeah, at the beginning
Yeah,
of the
and
quick
they
fire.
asked, and like they went around the room saying like, "What's your best achievement?" And then like Iniro was saying, "Oh, I finished second in 2023," and Sven was like, "Yeah, who did you lose to?" And like him and
Oh,
Blabber were just like cracking up.
dang. Dude, Sven's.
And then he turned it on to Vulcan because I think that was maybe in the EG team where they got 3-0'd or FlyQuest, one of the two. Maybe FlyQuest actually. Was he on Fly in
No,
23?
in spring he was on EG, and then summer he moved to FlyQuest and finished ninth.
Yeah. It's been fun though. No, I'm glad they got sang out.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have more like personalities. It was interesting seeing Blabber kind of being the one to lead the conversation and not necessarily like Sven, who you would think is the most comfortable on camera. But hey, I'm all down for Blabber content. I'm a huge Blabber fanboy, so I will never say no to Blabber content.
As
He's
am
also
I.
been
As am
streaming,
I.
which is nice.
Mm.
Yeah. It was funny to see Loki though. Obviously, like you could tell he had communication issues and didn't know much English, but I liked how in the beginning he was like, "Yeah, I'm Loki. I'm gonna win LTA and win Worlds." And then Sven was like, "Hi, I'm Sven. I'm I'm gonna win LTA and I'm gonna win Worlds." I was like,
Yeah,
"All right, buddy."
like Thanatos' English is so good now.
Dude,
I'm really looking forward to interviewing him next year. It's just
yeah,
it's already getting to that like fluent stage. It's so nice.
yeah, he's been improving fast, man. I gotta up my game with my Korean because, like, yeah, we are not moving at the same pace. Speaking of Cloud
Are
Nine,
you live on Twitch, by the way?
yeah, I should be live on Twitch.
For some reason it's saying you're not.
I
Maybe
should
it
be live on Twitch.
needs to refresh
Yeah, I
from my
am.
end.
I can see myself on Twitch.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe refresh or something, but yeah, twitch.tv/CloudSitki. I'm definitely live.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cloud9, they're in Korea now. 4 teams of the LTA are in Korea: Shopify, 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, Cloud9. 2 of them are doing a not Kespico. They're doing an event with FearX. So if you don't know who FearX is, BNK FearX, they're a long-time organization. They host a lot of like boot campers and teams. They did that last split as well. In between spring and summer, and now they're hosting Cloud9 again, 100 Thieves again, and they're doing a show match at a stadium. That's super cool. You get to show off your new BNK roster. I think they have Duck Dom and Wei. They brought in like those two. I don't know. I'm blanking on the rest of the roster, but anyways, they're trying to show it off. They're showing off the new Cloud9 roster, the new 100 Thieves roster. Obviously, 100 Thieves only had one chain, so it's not that big. But they're doing a really cool show match. It's at 2 a.m. PST, 5 a.m. my time, which is like not great for North Americans fans because like for the majority of North America, it's at 5 a.m., which again isn't great. But again, this is a Korean thing, right? Completely understand. So people, I made a comment or I made a TikTok talking about like how we're not getting any content for North America and no events. Like, okay, Europe, you have the Red Bull event. Even besides that, you had KC and Koi, like Mad Lions previously, whatever their name is. They did like this huge, cool announcement for JoJo. They had a whole event. It was awesome. It was great. In China, you have Demacia Cup starting this weekend. In Korea, you had Kespa Cup, and now you have the Fear X. In what's it called? In CBLOL in the South, in LTA South, you had Cibolao, which happens every year, but still, it's like super cool. Last year we had like Core JJ and Dokla and Speaka and like all these. I think it wasn't Dokla. I think it was Licorice. We had a lot of like our players actually join into Cibolao. We had I think LS and I Will Dominate co-stream it last year. This year I don't think as much, but like there's a lot of cool activities showing off players and fans and hype and getting hype for next year and next split. And in North America, we have crickets.
Nothing.
Literally nothing. We have no events. And I saw, maybe I shouldn't. I saw some people from different organizations saying like it just doesn't make any sense for us to do things like this because we don't have the full roster. Most teams have imports, so we can't even do something like that. And if we did, it would be with like half our rosters. Half of the other league is in Korea. It just doesn't make any sense for us to do something like this. And my response is, then do something else. It doesn't have to be show off your entire roster. It could be completely online. And you do something. It doesn't have to be in a stadium. It doesn't have to be this grand thing. It could literally be like, hey, we're doing this event, Team Liquid versus Team Liquid and Cloud9 are both in Korea right now. Get them.
Out of all of them in Korea? I thought it was only a couple of players.
Of Team Liquid?
Yeah, I thought it was only Yon and APA. Unless the others went as well.
I thought Core and Impact was there to begin with, right? That's why he wasn't even in the announcement video. So I'm assuming he's in Korea. And then my understanding is that Core and Umpty are there as well, but I could be wrong. Like again, I'm not a Team Liquid fan, so I haven't been keeping up. But I know that like the Shopify roster is there, and even if it's like 4 out of 5, at the end of the day, do something. Get people excited for your team. Heck, if you don't want to do an event, do like what Cloud9 just did. Right? Yesterday, Cloud9 came out. Was it yesterday, Marn? With the video?
Yes,
yeah, they came out with like a podcast, and it was just like recorded on Discord. Literally, just like 6 people on a Discord call, and like them just talking. And it was super cool. I got to see Loki's personality. You got to see like super funny interactions, like we were talking about early in the beginning of the episode between Sven and Vulcan and and Inero. Like Sven's a funny guy. You got to see more blabber. Like you get to see stuff. We're going to see a VOD, hopefully, of the Furex like show match. But at the end of the day, like we are so starved for team content. And I think what the teams don't understand whenever I talk to a team about this is like, oh, logistically, it doesn't make sense for us. Logistically, it's like very hard. And it's like, look, find whatever you can do. And the reason we're telling you is not because, oh, you're just giving donation, like a donation to the fans. No. Yes, the fans benefit, but at the end of the day, first and foremost, you are benefiting. If you don't understand, this is a time, you have an auditorium, and there's no one, at all times, there are multiple speakers fighting for the attention of the crowd. And when you get the attention of the crowd, you get sponsors, you get money, you get like attention, you get everything positive that you could ever want as a team in an entertainment industry. You have all these really cool like benefits of having attention. And you're at a time for like 3 months where no one is speaking. There's not a single speaker. And whenever someone does speak, it's like for a couple minutes. You have all the attention. You do one thing and it'll probably be like the number 1 on the subreddit because there's nothing else going on in North America. You have all the attention of everybody. Sorry, I know I'm going on a rant, but like you have all the attention all the time. You have all these resources. Do something with it, please. Like it's beneficial for you. You're going to sell more in merch. You're going to have more people watching your games, meaning better sponsor, like deliverables. You're going to grow your organization. It is a win for you. And in a time where you have 0 competition, and yet you're going to wait until there's all the competition and still do nothing, like it just boggles my mind. Anyways, you can go.
Like the thing is, it doesn't even have to be specifically like teams. It could be so like a lot of what COD do is they will organize like weekly tournaments that like they have like captains and then they will pick their teams and then they compete for like money. That's literally what just happened. Cino did a COD event for like 10 grand, and then it was like 16 captains, and then they all did like it's like a double round of robin, I think, or some form of bracket. It's like we're not even getting that. If you don't want to do like thing just for like your team, fine. At least, unless there's a rule that Riot said no, these teams can't. Let the players like. Surely someone, even if you or I said like organize a like just a mini tournament, like I'd happily like try and help someone set that up. Like why can't we, even if we just got 10 players together from like multiple teams, like surely like surely even the players would probably want to like do something more like chill than like just grinding away for the next season.
I mean, we do have in-houses. Like you could make certain like one weekend of an in-house as a like an event. I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do. Could you speak for 1 second? I need to be right back.
Yeah, sure. So like the problem, like the thing is, I think teams could do that. Where I know CODs do like nightly eights. Like I don't know why we're not incentivizing like more players to do that. Yeah, I agree, TFG. It like there just needs to be something that like gets more players involved. Like that's all I'm let's say because I think in houses is fine, but like it's personally not my cup of tea. I personally rather watch competitive games like COD players do what they call eights. So they'll just have like nightly scrims with these teams. And the thing is that it would require teams to be okay with it, but they stream all their scrims or they stream most of their scrims. So like why can't we be watching C9 versus Shopify scrims? Like we're not on the new patch. Like we're not on the new season. So why can't we be watching these games?
Honestly, like just from hearing what you said, it gives me an idea. Like, look, we had in-houses. Why don't you just take those in-houses? If I'm Team Liquid, I know Core JJ is like in almost every single in-house. I'm just like having a caster like Mad Magical or something, like cast these things and then chop them up and put them up as highlights. Because Core DJ, like if you watch any of the in-houses, he was absolutely running the in-houses. He was completely dominating everybody. So I like that's already people getting hyped for your players, for your team. Like if I'm DSG and I see sorry, not yeah, if I'm DSG and I see Scary Jerry and like he's playing well in the in-houses, I'm chopping that up. I am putting that
And the
as a
thing is,
real like
you can do it for money as well. Like these pros don't like some of these pros are on still stupid amounts of money. Do it for like a couple of grand for like like do a tournament. Just do like a weekly tournament between these two, like, and then do captains, and then it brings a competitive nature rather than it's just in houses with not much on the line.
didn't Valorant do something like that with like it was a mix between Game Changers and VCT, and they had like players playing with each other, and like I know like some of the Shopify players were playing with
yeah, so it was a
Cloud9.
spotlight tournament, like the
Yeah, it was
most
so
yeah,
much
it's a
fun. I
spotlight,
didn't understand what's
and
happening, but
right, and like the final was C9 versus G2. It's absolutely hope.
yeah, I just it's like easy, just opportunities for like stuff is already happening in NA. Like what Trespasser is saying, he's been having so much fun watching these in houses. Just do something. Just do something with it. You already have it. It's I don't know, man.
I think that's my biggest gripe with Lowry Sports to just the lack of off-season like tournaments. And like I understand it is hard with like certain teams going to Korea, but even in Korea, you have 4 teams. You can do a mini tournament. That's what these other events are doing. So they had a LAN for the NA qualifiers for this Red Bull Homeground event. It was between 4 teams, and it was a LAN. So you're telling me we can't get 4 teams together online to like do a mini tournament that you could even do over one day? Just do if you want to. I don't like best of ones, but if you want to make it best of ones, go for it. At least we're getting something.
Yeah, I don't like what I don't get is the teams, like you're saying, in Valorant and Call of Duty, they understand that, hey, when it's off season, you want to give content because then people become fans of your team and it's like the easiest, most opportune time to do stuff like this. They get that. And yet they don't do it for League. And what I don't understand is like it could literally just be if I'm Cloud9, I have my entire team right now in Korea. Every week or every like 3 or 4 days, I'm uploading a VOD of Blabber playing with another player in an ARAM, like duoing in ARAM, and just like interviewing them, asking them like a list of questions, and just to get to know. And it'll be called like get to know the C9 players. And it'll be like, I mean, I'm taking this idea from Sharp because he did something similar with the Cloud9 players where he would play with the Immortals players where he would play with them. And then, but like, it is good publicity. David was talking about this. I told him, like, look, you've talked to the number 1 and 2 teams, Gen G and T1 CEOs on your channel. And yet the only CEO from North America that's talked on your channel is not even in the league. Why is it that other places, other regions, other teams, other parts of the same organizations that are in NA understand what they need to do in order to develop fandom, and yet our LTA teams don't? And I'm including Shopify in this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not be like, oh, Shopify, we're perfect. No, like, why are we not doing something? We have our team in Korea. Like, the least we can do is just get some solo queue highlights and push that out and be like, look, we got Fudge. Like, just do more, please. Anything.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. It is frustrating, like, because I think I just want to see stuff daily. That's a pipe dream. Like, really, it is pipe dream because, like, C9 specifically, I know, like, Paul E said about this on Twitter. Like, they're monitoring not just League of Legends. They have their entire like social team and the creative department is like spread across like 6 major titles. So like, and I will be fair to like everything I ask for in League, Valorant gets. Like, I really, I'm outside of the actual results of their games. I like everything about C9 and Valorant. Like, they have the co-streamers. Like, they have
Besides
one
the
for America,
result.
one for Brazil. Like, besides the results, they have one for America, one for Brazil. Like, their content's pretty good. Not as frequent sometimes, but it is pretty good. They're like, if you look at their social numbers for like tweets, maybe not like recently because I think there has been a lot of backlash within the org, like because they've had like another player let go, but their tweets perform pretty well. Same with Call of Duty, but that's also because they inherited like a pretty like good CDL org. But like, sorry, I completely lost my thought. What was I talking about? Just the that Valorant was like everything I want like League to be, and I think they are starting like they're trying to like even just 5 minutes ago as we're like live they've uploaded like a short clip of like Sven bowling. That's good enough for me. Like, if you just start giving me these like little daily things, just so like I know what the team's up to, instead of just okay, we're now gonna go AFK for like the rest of the boot camp.
I completely agree with you. And not all of it has to be like these grand tournament, like just literally a clip of each day, like one day Shopify's uploading like what's his name? Fudge just being like, yo guys, what's up? You know, today we're doing this. They're like literally that's it. Or just like showing off what they eat. Every day, just one of the players be like, this is what I'm having for lunch. This is what FearX is feeding us because they're known to have like really good food and whatnot. Just very little things go a long way. And the orgs, like, okay, David did mention this in his video that he just uploaded today, where first of all, I disagree with the tweet that was made by how do you say his name? Portillo, I think, is how C9 Portillo. Like he said that like organizations, esports organizations that are in so many different leagues have way more pressure and like workload than people working for like the NBA or whatnot. I disagree. I think they just have a bigger task force, but that's neither here nor there. Look, if you can't get one person to just work on the offseason for League of Legends, then you are doing something functionally wrong. If you cannot afford that, then you are doing
That's
something wrong.
like for I think C9 specifically are fine because they have, as far as I know, they have a Call of Duty social media, they have Dota, they have CS:GO, they have League of Legends, and they have Valorant. There may be one more, I don't think so, but like if you look on their main Twitter, so like all the games they have listed, that's what they had like socials for, or social teams for, should I say? Their like social departments are absolutely stacked.
Like I know that they've done really cool stuff before, so I don't know, man. It's just it part of it feels like they just don't care, and I know they care. But part of it really does feel like they absolutely do not care about League of Legends because that is the status quo. That's what everybody else is doing. So why would we do more? Dude, BNK, Fear X did so much more than what every other North American team did during Worlds. Like, if you just watch their YouTube channel, they had their players. They got like this very famous. She's like a comedian. She's not an idol, but she's like this like cutesy like comedian girl to like intern with them, and she would go around the organization and on the chefs, and like she went to the CEO and she sat in his chair and she was like, "Where's my secretary?" And she was like just having fun. Now I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff, but that stuff did numbers and did good numbers for a team that nobody actually cares about. And like, how much did that really cost? Not much. How many more people did see it? I'm a Western fan. I literally live on the other side of the planet and I've seen it. And yet I don't see stuff that my brothers and sisters in the US are doing. So I don't know.
The lack of like world support was not even world support, like just traction for the teams was pretty shocking. Like, I know C9 was like pretty active during their games. That's what scares me. I can't remember who else, and I'm not even saying that just because it's a C9 fan. I remember thinking like I don't think half the teams even like tweeted like one thing. Like they didn't even tweet one thing during Worlds.
Yeah, I think C9 was like the best one at tweeting other stuff that wasn't there, but then I think maybe Dig one time tweeted something, and that was pretty much it. I don't think Shopify, we did not do anything. I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure we did.
100 Thieves didn't. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, 100 Thieves were at World, so that's a whole different thing.
I mean, like, as soon as they were eliminated, there was no, like, interaction with the other teams that was there.
Yeah.
And maybe I can understand because, like, your season's done, so, you do deserve a break and whatnot, but it would have been nice to see them continue like, support for the other teams, even though theirs ended quite badly.
So Joseph Lee brings up a very good question. Do you think there's a lack of education on the value of marketing and organizations' adventure of marketing and organizations' adventure? I don't think so, because these same organizations do it for other teams, for their other like esports ventures, for their other games, for their other titles. But for some reason they don't do it in League of Legends.
I think it's something I'm going to be like investigating throughout the years. How much is like on the teams that they can do, and like how much is like Riot pulling the strings in that regard in like what they are allowed to do? Because like that's my question sometimes. Like, is Riot prohibiting these teams from doing like, let's say, these off-season events? Do they actually need permission to host them? I probably wouldn't think so to some degree, but I don't know.
Okay, if it's actually the case of Riot being like, hey, we don't want you to market yourselves because that will make the LTA look bad, or like it'll be competition or whatever it is, I'll give them that much. But that doesn't mean that for the rest of the time you don't do other stuff. Like, we already in this, like, how long have we been live? In like 25 to 30 minutes, we've given like 5 different ideas of stuff that you could do. Whether it's like just ARAMs between you and your players or ARAMs with some of your fans, like you could do so many things to pump out content for your teams, not just like big tournaments. Like, again, the topic of this, like, why don't we have things like Cibola or, Red Bull event or things like that? Why don't we have a Kia event in North America? We have multiple teams that are sponsored by Kia. Why don't we have stuff like that? And if Disguised Toast, like in 2023, Disguised Toast can do something like that, then why can't we do stuff like that too? Flight Check is saying that teams do need Riot's permission to run events utilizing players outside of their teams. My understanding is like it's quite easy for that to happen. Like, for example, during the 3-week breaks, I know Mark Z came out publicly and he was like, yeah, we actually made it very easy for them to do stuff like that. They could only use their own players. That's why Fly did their off-season match with Fly C and Fly. Well, if you can only use your own players, I can see how that would make things a little bit more complicated to do something like Red Bull event here in NA, but I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get Riot to approve, especially with Mark Z. Yeah.
I think like stadium events would probably be a lot harder to like get done, but I watch Red Bull Home Ground, and I just wish they had something like that for NO. Like, just give me something to like, because it's going to be an old patch, fine, but let me just at least watch my team play. Because like the problem is you don't get the players streaming. If the players stream, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with the lack of like events, right? Because at least I'm every night I'm able to tune into Blabber or Loki or Thanatos, whoever. Like I just I think streaming would be a nice buffer for at least me personally.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll go back to the in-houses. We had the in-houses, just give it a little bit more support, and like make it a thing. Make it
Mm-hmm.
be like, look, we have all of, we have these in-houses that are going on. We have a caster. It can be just like your players if you want that. If you really don't want to pay a caster to cast something, I'm sure there are people taking opportunities for like not very expensive, like, day rates that Riot might pay, and just chop that up, edit it, put it out, be like Team Liquid greater than C9 when, Core JJ ends up like solo killing Thanatos or something silly like that happens. Just do something. But
Like to
the fact
continue
that
to be a Hundred Thieves hater, they haven't on their League of Legends channel even retweeted the tweet from FearX about the event that's happening in 2 days for them. Like, I'm not even trying to compare teams because, like, it's whatever. Because like I don't think it's difficult, but C9 have their own stream and caster for this event.
yeah, last split, like last time they did this as well, they brought Mad Magical as well. So
Yeah, like and I'm glad they did because it's a slam dunk for them. Very good relationship with the org. Like he will be down to do this at any time, any day. So like if they wasn't doing it, I'd be very upset.
yeah, Wooly brings a good point. He says that the vibe around in-house is just way too casual. I feel like don't tell the players anything. Don't tell them, oh, you're gonna be just do it. I mean, I guess maybe the players will like feel more pressured or whatnot. But look, you're an entertainment industry. You just kind of need to entertain. People are watching your streams anyways. It's not like we're doing anything different. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the the Red Bull like event could 100% work either at a studio or in collaboration with universities. That would benefit every party. I completely agree. I just
It upsets me even thinking about it because I know that it's never going to happen, and that's what's like. We're just talking hypotheticals that make me upset.
yeah, like at the end of the day, if you can't get your players who are contracted to your team in order to make content to build fans of your team, then something is just wrong. Something is wrong.
Hmm.
Cloud9 got all five of their players and one of their coaches on a podcast. Like they could do that. I don't think that it's impossible to do that um, in any other capacity. Sure, maybe team events is like more difficult, and maybe NA is not ready for that. Maybe we just don't have the infrastructure. Like we have 1,001 excuses. Don't do team events. Do something else. Just start somewhere so that in the future we can have a Kia event in the off season. In the future we can have like these, and maybe the Kia event isn't it, like okay, Japan, who's like the tiny region, it's a tiny country. There's a lot of people living in Japan, but Japan has a Riot Games One event. They brought out Dyrus, they brought out Perks, they brought out Insec, if I'm not mistaken. They brought out Bang. They brought out like really old like players to play against their LGL teams. Like, don't tell me you can't bring out double lift sneaky Meteos when they're already doing it on their stream. You just put a little bit of production behind that, and like that's an event right there.
Hmm. Like they did something. Sure, was it before LCS finals in like 2020? Do you remember they did like the OG C9 and TSM rosters? Why can't we have like an OG event would go insane? Like if you gave me like the OG CLG TSM C9, I guess you can do Liquid, but
Yeah, I just even better. Think about inviting C9 to a Riot 1 Japan, even to go against SoftBank's Hawks. That would be an instant sell. Yeah, imagine this C9 roster is playing against the Dyrus Perks Insec or like SoftBank's Bank Hawks like roster with Evie and one. Like, I just think that there's so much you could do, and there's so much that is being done outside of North America, but we can't do it in NA. Why is it that Cloud9 and 100 Thieves can do these Fear X shows at stadiums, but we can't even get 2 or 3 other players to do some like content creation on our side? It just
Well, my assumption for like, why C9 are consistently going to Korea is because they've been having like Korean imports that require visas, so they have to go over there. Otherwise, they're not getting any practice with their roster, which is why I want to see them doing this online like content. Like, I was so happy when I saw. Like, it was a nice surprise seeing that podcast upload yesterday.
yeah.
Because I thought it's just going to be like casual clips occasionally, but and now the next day, even though it's 10 seconds, I like these short little clips. Like they're showing their players doing bowling, and like I want to see this every day. Like tomorrow, I don't think anyone from C9's watching, but if they are, I want to see something tomorrow. Just keep doing it daily.
I don't know about that. Come on, you're asking for way too much. We got one at one. One.
No, not like not podcast, but like that's a 10-second clip. How hard is it to record something for 10 seconds? Like you said,
Impossible, dude. Have you seen their clips? They try to do it, and they'd be like once every 3 months they come out with like a short. It's there were less consider. Yeah,
that's
that's
just not even C9. That's everyone. Like get them in front of League of Legends, fine. Put them in front of a camera for 5 seconds, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that's something that just doesn't make sense. Like, look at what happened in CBLOL. It was like a huge thing. CBLOL out. If you don't know, it's for charity first and foremost. But still, it was like a huge event, and like people were there this year. Last year, NA got to participate. I just DSG like invitationals happened last year. Stuff can happen. Just
Like, and that's the thing. I have a big gripe about them using the studio. Use the studio for these off-season events. Like, I don't care. That you're giving me something.
that's way too hard. They're gonna be like, oh, but the budget, like, oh, we're just turning on the lights is already so much money, and we're on a budget. Like, we can't do that. Just do stuff online. I'll say just until you grow to the point where you could sell out a stadium in the middle of the off season, do stuff online. Do whatever is like the cheapest thing possible, but do something. Because right now you're doing nothing, and that you might be like, oh, doing nothing is the cheapest thing. No, it's not, because you're losing fans. You are actively bleeding out fans. You are net negative when you do nothing.
Like, could you imagine if you did like an off-season tournament, like what we just did for Game Changers, but just do all the LTA teams? Like, you do two, like you put them all together. So, like for example, if you had like a FlyQuest and Shopify like roster combination, and like you just do these mixed teams, like just do something, please.
Yeah, I think Papa Smithy would argue that like, but half our players are like not even here; they're home. Like Inspired and Whipple might be in Europe, and like Quad might be in Korea. So like,
That's fine. Just pick up any like NACL or like tier 2 player that wants to compete for you. Like it's an off-season event. It's not like it's just for fun.
yeah. Or each team could have one player. So like, FlyQuest might be like Masu or Busio, right? Busio is like their one player, and for Team Liquid Core might be their or APA might be their one player, and for FlyQuest, Fudge might be their one player, and like each team has one player, and then 4 other like NACL teams, and that one player has to play off role, and like you do like a 4-team tournament in 2 days, so you don't like take the pros the entire time, and then you use that as content for the next month.
Exactly. Because even if you wanted to just like you don't have to even if you didn't stream it and you just did it like privately, like you just recorded these games and then just uploaded it daily, that's also fine with me. Like, man.
Yeah.
Too much wishful thinking. I like how this episode's just been a rant of his ideas that they're never going to implement, but here's the ideas anyways.
Well, here's the thing with these ideas. Like, we can yell as loud as we want. Like, look, these are really cool ideas. You should do them. And then they're not going to do them. And guess what's going to happen? At some point, either we're going to grow enough that we can do them, or someone else is going to come and take those ideas. And then Riot is going to look at it and be like, wow, that's a great idea. Guess what? We have just come up with the greatest idea ever. And then it'll be like, revolutionary. 15 years into LoL esports, we decided we're going to do off-season events again. All-Stars was like so bad, we had to stop. It was great. But then when we stopped it, it was great as well. And now we're bringing something else back, which is great as well. And it's like, okay, dude, just come on, man. But like, at the end of the day, like, that is part of the reason I want to grow this platform, is so that at some point we can do things like these. And if Riot's gonna do one of two things. So either one of three things. Is gonna let whoever does it do it and be happy. Hey, look, they're already doing it. We don't have to spend any money or budget or time or effort. They're doing it. It's great. It's bringing publicity to our league. It's awesome. Or they're going to do the LPL thing where they're going to be like, oh, there's a fan-made LPL broadcast. We actually want to run it. We're going to put money behind it. We're going to do it right. And then after a while, they'll be like, oh, we don't actually want this. And they're going to kill it. And then the fans are going to pick it back up again. Or they're going to do the third thing where they'd be like, hey, we don't allow you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd be like, why? You guys aren't doing anything. It's like, no, it's against our terms and services. Like, okay, we can't do it. No one can do anything. It's going to be one of those three things. And there are two very good outcomes and one not so good outcome. And I used to be a lot more worried that it would be the third outcome, but I think Riot is moving in a direction where they're like, we actually like it when fans and teams do stuff.
Yeah.
Oof. I know that was heavy. That was it's not great to talk poorly about your teams, especially because I know that, like, if you didn't watch David's video, you should. He talks about who won the offseason, who lost the offseason. And like the team that he eventually ended up saying they won the offseason is Shopify, which is my team. And like, I know that we're setting so many things up so that we can do all of what we're talking about here. Maybe not events, but like we're trying our best to like really hammer in content and like brand and make people fans of this team that are happy to see this team play. And like that's our goal. And I think we've set ourselves up quite well. But at the same time, it's like, look, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're setting yourself up well. You've had a year. You haven't utilized that well. Right? Same thing for Cloud9. You've been here forever. And people are like, oh, right now they can't do it. Like, dude, Cloud9 has been in the league for the past, like, since summer split of 2013. They used to do so many cool stuff, and they stopped. So don't come with me.
I think next year we will see more from the C9 side. I think, well, it's not like a great excuse. I don't think you'll see like the ideas that I think are being discussed like internally until like the new season, which I'm okay with, because as long as you're telling me like we're getting new stuff, or even if you're bringing back old stuff, like that's better than I think we already talked about this before. I think there has been an improvement gradually. I think there's been a gradual like increase in how they've done things, because there was a point when it was absolutely dire within the organization in terms of content. I think there will be an increase, and like I will be the first one to call it out if it doesn't happen, right? But I've been told there will be exciting things like coming content wise and stuff, so I'm happy to like. I'm gonna give them the opportunity, because they have been like improving, and like that's all I ask is improvement from where it was. So like if there wasn't, I wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt, but because I have seen gradual improvement, I'm gonna let them like ride it out, because I think that's how the org's been for a while. I think they really took it on the chin when it started with the Yay departure and the LS departure, and I feel like the org really, I think financially, socially, everywhere just took a hit. And I think it's been like a gradual like improvement.
So let me ask you a question. My thing is like it's not just about pump out content. It's like that's step number one. You also need to kind of sort of understand what you're doing and like be good at it. So it's not just like make
Mhm.
sucky videos and be like, oh, ta-da, like fans should be happy. No. Um, let me ask you this. When FlyQuest played against Gen G,
Mhm.
they hit like, if I'm not mistaken, like 3 million viewers or 3.3 million, like the peak viewer. There was a lot of people watching that, right? And then
Mhm.
FlyQuest released their voice comps. Let me actually check when they released their voice comms. If I'm not
Hey, sorry for
sorry, ads. They released their voice comms October 30th. That's like way after they played, right? I think they played earlier. Regardless, they posted their voice comms. They got about 35,000 views, which is pretty good, I would say. Now, they actually have a documentary of their whole world's
Did you
run and
say?
whatnot.
Did you say October 30th?
Yeah.
That's 10 days after the game with Genji.
Okay, that's not too bad, honestly. For because I know sometimes it takes a while for Riot to even send you the voice comms, especially at Worlds. 3.5 million peak viewers for Genji versus FlyQuest. Uh, so yeah, they had a lot of viewership. A lot of people were like excited for FlyQuest. They didn't take that opportunity. But then what they did was they came out the flight with the voice comms, got a lot of really cool viewership. And then let me ask you this: did you watch their video that they did, like their journey throughout Worlds?
I didn't know.
You didn't. I'll tell you
Unless
why. I'll tell you why. This video has like a third of the views of the mic check. It has 11,000 views. It came out 2 weeks ago. It came out at the end of November. I'm sorry, but who cares about FlyQuest
that's the thing.
a
Like
month and a half after you
one.
played?
But the thing is, like, why is it coming out after World? Like, I've already after World Finals, I am done with the current season. Like, I don't want to consume any content. The only one I would even think about as a C9 fan would be C9. Like,
No,
I'm
exactly.
not
That's
big
my
on.
point. My point is like, look, you had an amazing opportunity and you tried, and then it fumbled, right? Because you came out a month and a half late.
You
And then what's
missed the
going to
mark
happen?
on a lot of European fans watching it because there were so many. Like, even in the stadium, they were going nuts for FlyQuest. Like, when would you ever hear a European crowd chanting for
I mean, they
FlyQuest?
had Blipon inspired, so I'm not that
Yeah,
surprised.
I guess.
Yeah,
I
but like,
guess.
here's my point. FlyQuest fumbled the ball with that. And then what's going to happen in a FlyQuest boardroom is like, it's not worth it doing these things because people don't watch it. We only got 11,000 views. Just keep doing voice comms. They do better. Not understanding or not having someone in the room available to be like, the reason it didn't do well is because of these things, these factors. It's like, look, if the Olympics happen and then a month and a half later we get something about the Olympics, chances are it's not going to do nearly as well if it's right after a super hype game in the Olympics. And I understand logistically why it's very difficult for you to get a whole documentary finished in 2 days. I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I've worked on similar stuff before. It takes time and effort. But at the end of the day, if you are doing something and you don't do it well, so it's not just about doing it. You have to do it and do it well. So when you do it and it doesn't work out on your first day, don't come back to us, to the LTA report and go on and like go after us and be like, we did exactly what you told us and it's not doing well. It's like, no. You didn't do it properly. There are so many factors to take involved. You have to learn how to do it properly.
Hmm. I agree.
The reason I bring this up is because so many people I will see like on Reddit or YouTube or be like, oh, teams are trying. Whenever teams try, it doesn't do well. And I'm like, maybe that just means that the teams aren't trying well. So many people on the IMT Discord were talking about how like, oh, IMT does so much cool content and people just don't care about them and people are prejudiced. I'm like, I literally have a whole video going through every single video and thumbnail and title of IMT's videos and telling you why it sucks. The only reason you like it is because you are biased heavily towards the player. Chances are most of the time that YouTube shows something, it doesn't know that this is an IMT fan. And guess what? Most people aren't IMT fans. If you're doing good content, it shouldn't matter. It should make you into an IMT fan. And if you are an IMT fan, it should be good. It was doing a very bad job at everything. Literally everything. It was for a very small, minute number of people. And if you're going and paying editors and photographers and taking time out of the players' schedules to do content and all this, and you're doing this whole grand operation, and at the end of the day, you get less viewers than this podcast that we started like 4 weeks ago, you are doing something objectively wrong.
Oh,
And to
wait,
blame the
that's true.
fans is just, or say, oh, there's not enough interest. When Team Liquid is doing a video that's getting 45,000 views or 65,000 views, and you can't get past 65, you're doing something wrong.
Wait, is that true that our pod's getting more than Moles?
I mean, okay, our last video got over 100 views. I'm pretty sure IMT, when I had checked when I was doing my video, had a bunch of videos that were like in the 60s and 70s. So
I don't even know if they have any.
I mean, I'll go to Immortals. I think right now at this point, all their videos have over 100, have a couple hundred views. But yeah, most of their videos are like their lowest video is 160 views. So
it's like the 300 to 400 mark.
What?
I said it's like the 300 to 400 mark.
Yeah, but this is months after, by the way. Like for us, our this is, first of all, this is an organization with 55,000 subscribers. You know, from way back in the day. I know people don't actually watch, but like this is an organization with professional players who have much bigger brands than you and I combined. Each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is an organization that is paying people like salaries to do this stuff, or contractors or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, you make a video that gets like 300 views. That's just clearly you're doing something wrong. Or maybe that's your goal. Your goal is like, we only want a video that gets 300 views. I don't think that's your goal. I would be very surprised if that was your goal. But that's just, yeah. Like, Tactical streams, I'm pretty sure if Tactical were to upload his VODs onto YouTube, he would get more views than the IMT YouTube channel. This, like, Jelly, their content creator, gets more views on her Twitch stream and her YouTube channel than when she shows up on the IMT YouTube channel. Like, it's yeah. They're not in the league anymore, so I don't know why I'm crapping on them. But like, it's just a preemptive response to something that I've seen very, very often.
That's wild.
I don't say this to like be mean or to hate on the teams. It's more of like, look, I'm in the content creation game. I understand that sometimes you do something and it doesn't work. And if you make excuses and blame other people, it's not going to go anywhere. And at the end of the day, I want to see North America flourish. I want to see FlyQuest have like 3 million viewers at LCS finals, not just at Worlds. I want that to be a reality. And I don't think we're moving in the right direction. I think we're slowly moving in the right direction. But I think we need a lot more like people to, actual content creators, to let the people know, like, hey, this is what we're expecting. We are content creators. We know how it works. This is how you want it to work.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of wishful thinking, man. Like, I don't even want to be like a lot of wishful thinking. I don't want to be like the negative person. But like, if I had to ask you how, like, or maybe I'll ask you this: if you go down the league, who do you expect content to improve like next year, stay the same, or like decline?
Okay, well, I think it's very hard for some teams to decline. Like, I don't think I could say anything about DSG, right? I don't think I could say anything about, because they weren't in the league last split. I mean, they were obviously in NACL, but it's DSG and Lions I can't really talk about. If I'm talking about Cloud9, I'm hopeful that they're going to improve just because of certain like things I've heard around with Cloud9, and like the fact that they started this new like program to interact with the fans. I'm hoping that it's going to improve. I think Team Liquid will probably improve. I think they learned a lot of lessons over the last year. I think I'm looking forward to them. I think FlyQuest probably stay the same. I think FlyQuest did a good job. I just don't think I think there are a few things that if they were to improve on, they could definitely like be that number one content team. I just think, I don't know the people that work. I know some of the people that work on FlyQuest stuff, but then what I hear from them are like very weird things that FlyQuest sometimes does that I'm a little confused. So I will say FlyQuest stay the same. I think Shopify is going to improve. Like, I will make it improve. If I have to like edit the videos and send it to Shopify and be like, please, and beg, I will do it. But I think Shopify will improve. I think 100 Thieves will be worse, if I had to guess. I know they came out with like 3 or 4 episodes of the heist. I think they're going to do less of that, if I had to guess. Is that all the teams? Oh, just I don't know if what's his name? Silvix is still working with a dig. If he is still working, probably stay around the same. I would love to have a conversation with Silvix, to be honest, because I feel like he's going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. But if they're not working with Silvix, obviously they're gonna just be way worse.
Like
Do you agree
Silvix,
with
if you
my?
want to hop on the LTA report, you're more than welcome to.
What's up?
I said I was plugging Silvix. If you want to come on the LTA report, you're more than welcome to.
Oh yeah. So, do you agree with my assessment of like the teams?
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves is dead. I'm sorry. Like I think they're dead in the water. Like I'm sorry to David. I think he probably realizes that more than me, but I I just don't think there's not going to be any like bite out of them next year. I would be surprised that you'll get your generic like match day posts, the odd tweet if they win. Like if they beat C9, they're gonna milk that cow. But I don't expect much contact them. FlyQuest, I didn't know that there was some like weird stuff from what you were saying, but
I don't think it's bad. I just think
I think
that
they need to capitalize on the position they're now in because coming into 2024, no one really saw them as the top dog in NA, and now you have to set the standard for everyone else. Because I think TL are setting that standard with their content. I love just how transparent they are. Like they did like the video on Spawn. They could have easily just did that in a tweet. They did like a
yeah.
full-fledged video on it. But I think they understand. Like they understand their like role in being like a transparent org, and I think they do it very well.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
agree.
Shopify. I mean, they're fools if they don't take. Like, I think David made a good point about like making a good second impression. Because I don't think they made it a good first one in LoL. The second one, I think they'll do much better. And I think it's not hard to with the players they've got. Fudge just has to open his mouth once, and you've got gold.
Palafox is a big talker
Contracts.
too.
He's got a lot of things to do before he can start opening his mouth. I promise. I promise you. Um, Contract is such a lovable player. Like he is one of my favorite like players I've ever interviewed. He's just like when you can make someone forget you're like in an interview and it's like you felt just like a conversation. You've done a good job, and like he's just gonna be like really good for your brand.
No, I agree. We picked up a really good core, and I don't want to spoil the entire video that David did, but he did say that 100 Thieves lost the offseason. So you can watch
It
that
depends how
video and see
you
why.
see. It depends how you see it though. Like
Well, he explained
if you're
why.
looking
Yeah.
at, to be fair, I didn't watch the last part because I've watched like so many videos of his on this topic already. I thought, okay, I probably don't need to see the same. So, but if he said something different, please do tell me.
Well, no, it's exactly why you think he said that 100 Thieves lost the offseason. But I didn't want to spoil everything for the viewers because I do think that it was a quite well put video that people should watch. It brings a different perspective of like, okay, where did the meme of like winning or losing the offseason come from? Cloud9, and like, what am I judging you based on?
Mm-hmm. Uh, C9, I expect it to go up. I just want to point out to like anyone listening, I'm not doing it because I'm biased. I genuinely have seen a gradual increase, as I said before, like in their content. I didn't like it for a while. Post like 2022 was a rough one. Like with like the days when we was getting over 200,000 views per LS episode was absolutely nuts. Like I'm surprised our most viewed video isn't an LS video.
What is your most viewed video?
It's a world's reaction.
Oh, those, yeah, those
Like
will
a
do quite
world's
well.
like group reaction. I think it's 2021. Wait, which years didn't we go? 2020. Nah, what am I saying? Of course we
Yeah,
went.
the one where you had perks, draw reaction. Yeah, that's your number one video, and then it goes to LS. It's like 4 or 5 different LS videos.
Yeah.
Also, I did want to mention about FlyQuest because I know I said even if FlyQuest were to stay the same with everything that they did, I would be very happy. FlyQuest, like what they have done as an organization, from being a team, like forget about them winning or just being a good team, just in terms of content, have done a phenomenal job. They're the content creators that they brought in, the whole like Metamorphosis brand, the amount of like brand deals that they're doing, Basil being an absolutely amazing content creator. I think she's the best content creator that a team has signed since like for a very long time. Let's put it that way. She's not even a pro player, but she brings a lot of fans to League of Legends, to FlyQuest. She brings a lot of FlyQuest fans to her merch. Like it's just it's a well-made collaboration. I love what they're doing with her. I love like I was a fan when they came out with the mascot. I wasn't a fan that they came out with two. They didn't do anything with that, but at least they're like experimenting. I know people are going to meet on the chat bot, but again, they're trying different things. They might not have a very clear direction of like where they want to go with 2025, but as long as they do the same thing that we've been seeing them doing with the like the content on Twitter with different fans and like engagement and events and like hosting events locally and boba shops and opening up like pop shops and stuff like that, I think they're set for a very, very strong 2025.
I think I was actually thinking about this the other day. They've So I think of FlyQuest like pre the acquisition and post it. And post it, they've gone within the space of a year, because I'm not even like going to really credit 2023 because I think they were still finding their feet.
Yeah.
Literally in the space of a year, they've established themselves as one of the higher brands in LCS, LTA now. But and I think that's a very impressive thing, because many orgs, I will look at them and say, yeah, but how long have you got? Like, I think 100 Thieves, there was signs on the wall when they started doing their other avenues that very risky for money, like energy drink they were doing and the game that they were trying to create while
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
going
remember
ham in a
that.
lot of like. But FlyQuest hasn't done that, and one of their biggest ones is they acquired a Oceanic CS:GO team.
I saw
So
that,
that
yeah.
is one of the smartest things I have ever seen. You've picked up a bad team in a bad region, but you get to make the major every single time, so you're getting those major sticker money. So you're just printing paper with FlyQuest sticker money.
And guess what? They brought in
And,
Kitty, who's
and
someone is like local to the fan base to like bring in fans to
right.
that project.
And like the one thing I will point on that is a lot of teams have CS:GO sponsors. That's why they're able to do what they do. Like I know C9 does a lot of stuff on the CIS side, like Telegram. I can't even access Telegram here,
Oh,
but like
interesting.
well, yeah, because I think it's mainly for the Eastern European countries that like can access it, unless you make one like a desktop one, I think. But I know that they interact a lot on like Telegram and like all those other avenues. Um, but yeah, that they're not going absolutely crazy in games. If they were going crazy in other titles, I would be slightly worried about them. But I think they're fine. I think they're doing steady. Because like my biggest fear for them was that they're going to just. I think they do want to get into VCT. I think that's such a. They're in. I think they have a female team, Fluckus Red, if I believe.
Yeah, they have a
Who actually
dancing
did
players. Yeah.
compete in the game changes, yeah. So I think it's obvious that FlyQuest wants to be one of the next brands in VCT, and I think they're just waiting to buy a slot based on the lack of like introduction of of a VCT academy team, not academy, but like the tier 2 team, because it just looks like they're waiting for a spot to be available rather than burning paper on that.
Oh, so apparently FlyQuest Red is for both Valorant and CS2, and FlyQuest Red Valorant made champs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think they are just waiting for a VCT position to be open.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was misremembering, but Flight Check says that Fly tried acquiring EG's VCT spot, but Riot denied the deal. I remember this happening actually. And I was going to bring it
Yeah,
up, but I couldn't remember which team.
I think that just goes to show that just because you're popular in one department with Riot, they're not like it's not everything's going to be rosy. Because C9 wasn't even meant to be in VCT. If the Carlos situation didn't happen, C9 would
Yeah.
not have a Valorant team, which is crazy.
I mean, a
Um,
lot of big Valorant brands don't exist in League as well. You'd think like they would all be wanting to come in and like that didn't
I don't
happen.
think Sentinels have. I don't know how what their spending is, but it doesn't seem like they have the extra like capital to put into a league team. I think
Interesting.
they, I think they compete in Halo, pretty good Halo team. Where else do they compete? Did they compete in Rocket League? I think it's other games outside of like your CS:GO, Valorant, League of Legends. I'd love Sentinels to come in because there's one, they talk shit. Two, like they would bring in a lot of eyes if they did it right.
I want Hex's optic to come because we got optic, but we got a very fake optic. That wasn't like Hex's optic. I want Hex's optic in League of Legends, but I don't think that would ever happen. So I'm gonna make Shopify the optic of League of
I want
Legends.
it just to see. I want it just so David can. But I was gonna say to talk smack to 100 Thieves, but they wouldn't even be here by that time.
100 Thieves, they would probably buy 100 Thieves spy.
That would be funny.
Dude, if oh my god, dude, David would be so happy if Optic buys 100 Thieves spot. That's just an upgrade for him. I mean, dude, he would be so ecstatic.
Hmm.
He
I
probably even
want
thank 100 Thieves.
like if you think David's unbearable now, wait if Optic came into the league. Like that would be
Dude, I would
that would
have
be.
allegiance problems, man. You might see
I
my Shopify jersey looking a little extra green sometimes.
oh, are you an Optic fan?
I am.
Oh, I to be fair, before C9 got back into COD, I only used to watch COD back in the day for the OG the Dynasty roster. Once the Dynasty roster, I am everything that I despise about League fans. I as soon as that Dynasty roster broke up, I was like, right, that's it, I'm out. Like I didn't really care because I tried to watch the. I don't know how much you were watching at that time, like during the World War Two stage, but they like the next roster following the Dynasty breakup. I tried to watch it, I couldn't enjoy it anymore.
That was after Nate Shot left, right?
No,
Oh,
this
you're talking about
was
like the old like roster.
like the Scump Crim Six
Okay,
Karma
yeah, I
for like
see.
once that broke up and they brought in Octane and
Uh-huh.
I don't even know who the other one was. TJ Halley, I think I can't remember. No, Method, sorry. But I'd like Optic in the league. Not in a million years though. They are they are happy where they are being FPS kings in Valorant and not Valorant. They used to be in Valorant, but in a
Odd.
Halo and COD.
Yeah. I think I used to watch their YouTube channels because they were very active on YouTube before they even became like a professional team. They were like these
Hmm.
sniper like trick shots and whatnot, and I was like, I was a young kid and I would watch that kind of stuff, and I was like very interested in optic. And then they started competing in like these like MLG like lands and whatnot, and be like they're the only team that actually has fans, and everyone else is like there's like a wall. Literally, that's where it came from the wall, the green wall. Like it's just a wall of people wearing green optic shirts, and then there's like the rest of the teams have no fans. I'm like, oh snap, I like optic. And then I stopped really playing COD. I think I don't remember exactly which Call of Duty game came out, and I was like, dude, this is so different. I don't want to learn another. Like, I'm not an FPS player to begin with. I was only playing it because of my friends, and then you want me to learn another one and keep buying new games. Whereas like I enjoyed like Final Fantasy games a little bit more. I played a lot of RPGs at that time as well. So I didn't end up like continuing. But like the name Optic kind of was ever since then, I liked Optic, and then I watched a little bit like with the like Scump. I was a big Scump fan, and Nate Shot. Honestly, I never was a Nate Shot fan, but I know that he was like constantly grinding a lot of content. And then later on, I read the Optic book that they came out with, and I've like kind of filled in a lot of the blanks of like what actually happened during those years with Nate Shot going back and forth and leaving and retiring and going, the 100 Thieves and what happened afterwards. So I did it eventually like catch up, but I kind of was like on and off with those kind of games.
So Joseph asked, what do you guys think of Riot creating a Twitch type site that allows like content creators and tournaments to be like hosted and distributed throughout the site?
Yeah, I feel like Chick just nailed the hit the nail on the head. Read the Bantex deal. They tried, they
Um,
failed multiple times. I think the idea is that like the viewership was going to, like more was decreasing, kept decreasing year after year, and they fumbled a huge deal and they tried to do something in house and they realized, look, maybe all of the efforts that we're putting in aren't best. Like when you're a big company and you have a budget and you're spending $250 million on building Arcane, and Arcane is like a huge success, and then you're putting in like an equal amount, maybe not an equal amount, but like millions and millions of dollars to do something for League of Legends and is giving literally negative results, and you're losing fan base, the products aren't good, you start basically cutting budgets on one side and putting the budget on the other side. So I think, would it be a great idea? I don't know that Riot would do it right. I think what needs to end up happening is someone else does it really, really well. Riot sees it, is like, oh snap, that's how it's done, and then does it. I feel like that's when Riot really does things well. It goes to a different game category, like auto chess and Dota, sees how it's done, and it's like, okay, we know how to make it happen. We know how to make it good. They did the same thing with like, Legends of Runeterra wasn't the greatest, but like in general, I feel like when Riot Games has a model to model off of and sort of improve on the model rather than develop themselves, they do a really good job. You could argue like, hey, Arcane was something that they did, and like no one really did it right until them. And I'd be like, yes and no. I think there's a lot of details that goes into Arcane. I think that's not necessarily. Arcane was a huge success for Riot Games, and I hope to see more of that. But I don't. I think it's like the exception that proves the rule, that Riot can be a leader and not a adapter, if that makes sense. I don't know what you think, Marn.
I I think there's a lot of other things to like fix before we start going on like the like streaming and like content creator like side of things. I think I think we need to do more with our like creators. I think like that, like you said, I think you alluded to earlier, like having more events where you bring out your double lift, your sneaky, and stuff like that. I think you need to be getting as many eyes on like them as possible. Because I think like sneaky, for example, his viewership has drastically declined, like from what it was like during his C9 days.
Yeah, I haven't watched Seeking in a long time, probably since like 2020 or something. But if I'm like Riot over the off season, I'm holding a double lift cup. I'm inviting Doublelift. I'm giving him rights, like paying for the rights of his naming and whatnot, and like doing all that stuff. And maybe not in LA, maybe somewhere else, just so we get events somewhere else. And like getting Doublelift to, as a name that people is very popular, having fans show up and having some like fun games that aren't like professional games, but like they had Bjergsen for a long time. They never ran a Bjergsen Cup or a Doublelift Cup or like these like super fun interactive stuff. They don't do very well with their content creators. Like I know, I don't know if you know this, Joseph Lee, the developer, but there's this thing called the Riot, what is it called, the League Partner Program, and through the League Partner Program you're able to get like a lot of really cool perks. They opened it up I think in 2020 and have never opened up since. And in the beginning of 2020, end of 2023, they were like, oh, going into early 2024 we're going to open it back up and it's going to be new and improved, and they did absolutely nothing with it. So I think in general they're not very good at utilizing their content creators. I think there are certain aspects of Riot that do well. Like, for example, the LCS used to bring in like people like Basil or Hercules or Miss Chim Chim and show them off to the fans and bring like they do good in that sense. But I think in terms of like, oh, we have content creators and we want them to advertise the league, that doesn't really happen. They're just not good at it. They give co-streaming rights, but even then, like, it's more of like the reason they gave co-streaming was because people were functionally co-streaming and they're like, oh, that's a great idea, let's do it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's very, very random, has nothing to do with anything. There's this guy who wrote a paper, and I was reading his paper, and his name is Caposiello. And for some reason in my head, every time I try to refer to the paper or refer to him, I call him Cappuccino, which is very wrong and very bad. But in my, I just can't. I just can't. And I was telling my wife about it, and she can't stop laughing. Yeah, poor guy. I feel bad, but it's just very similar letters. My brain is not. I'm not very good at Italian, so it is what it is. Yeah, with Bjergsen and old players, I agree. I think there's a lot that Riot Games, that the players themselves could do, that the teams could do. And honestly, I've given up on like fighting for Riot to do things. I know that I've talked about this a lot. Like at the end of the day, just forget Riot. If you're a team, if you're FlyQuest, if you're Shopify, if you're C9, do your own what benefits you. Run a really good marketing program, branding campaign. Do like hire a content creator like Basil, like what FlyQuest has done. Absolutely phenomenal. Do more events with her. Do more merch drops. Like just at the end of the day, regardless of the league, brand yourselves well, because the league doesn't do a great job, and it's improving. 2024 was a huge improvement over 2023, and hopefully going into 2025 we keep improving. But at the end of the day, just take responsibility for your own team and don't rely on Riot's promises that they clearly were not able to keep with the BAMTech deal, for example. Don't rely on Riot's promises, and just like you've been burned one too many times, like 3 too many times, 5 too many times, and just do your own thing. That's my plea to the teams, if that makes sense.
I fully agree, man. We just need to see more. I think that's what the echo like of this whole episode's been. Just please do more. Like whether that's 10-second clips, like even like being transparent about your content. I want to see as well. Like give us a schedule if you want to make a schedule. It's probably hard, like unless you're T1 to do like scheduled stuff like that, but yeah.
All right, that was a fun episode. Again, if you guys want to ask questions for like next episode or whatnot, you can keep like drop them in the comments and we'll respond to it. And oh wait, I hope Victor gets the traditional skin. It's such an easy W for Riot. I don't think Riot would do that. It'd be like, oh, we're going back against what we did. Maybe like in 3 years they would do that, but definitely not now. But yeah, if you want to bring up a topic or anything like that, yeah, just leave a comment. I think next week we'll have it around the same time. And yeah, we'll see you for whatever happens in the league space. If we have more rants to rant, or if we have good news to share, I might have some good news. For me, tomorrow I have a big deadline. So after that, I'll probably be posting more on my YouTube channel. I have a video on Fudge that is in the works. I don't know if it'll be done by Wednesday next week, but you can look forward to that. Follow the LPL English. They're going to be doing like co-streams as a functional like full live stream. If you haven't seen what Riot has done, they killed the stream. They're not paying anyone else, so now it's just like the casters, the fans. They're planning on doing it as like a fan project, which is how it started to begin with. So yeah, give them a follow. And Demacia Cup is starting this weekend. If not, the 15th, is that this weekend? Yeah, I think so. What about you, Marn? Anything you want to shout out?
It's more just a promise that like now I'm recovering, because as soon as I came back on vacation, I was sick as a dog, like bedridden for like the first few days, and I'm now just like slowly recovering. So we actually announcement, we are now on Spotify. So this episode, right after this, I'll be like getting it up and posting on Spotify. I will get the link as you're talking. Let me find that very quickly.
All right, yeah, that's probably next time. I'll try to remember to make sure that I shout that out. That we're on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. You'll find the VOD coming up tomorrow, the edited VOD, and then we'll be on Spotify, which is cool.
I will get this link out working by the end. But yeah, it's mainly just short form content. Gonna be clipping this up, getting the best bits. Like as we've been saying with our organizations, like my aim is to do what we've been asking, get these out quickly, like get this in the hands of like as many people as possible. So yeah, that's my like promise on this podcast.